Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Keith here, Jesse on the camera, and tonight we're going to get into something we have no business getting involved with, but we're going to go back into the world of RC, rear-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, drifting, if you would, and we are going to finally finish some project cars that we started, what, like 4 years ago? And as far as we got, roller status, body trim, nothing really finished. So Jesse and I have a couple of these each. We're going to build them up, have some fun with them. Now these are very cheap, economical drift cars from our friends over at 3RACING. This is the Sakura D5. Now I'm probably saying that wrong. Someone in the comments will be like, it's Sakura, something like that. But anyhow, don't worry about it. The car is, what, 80 bucks, I think, US or something, like 100 bucks. Yeah. Not even, I think it was like 80 bucks Canadian. They're like dirt cheap. Great steering angle out of them. Now this is a version 2.0. The box on the 2.0 is gold. This is the box on my other one, which is a 1.0. But really, the only difference is these two plastic blocks are flipped around and a couple different spacers used in the arms, but you can just set the settings to the same if you download the manual for version 2. So basically, we're at the point where we just need to put, I believe, the front bumper piece on, the body mounts, and then throw the electronics into these cars to get them going. Now for this one, I decided to go with a visit over with our friends Eliminator RC, Winnipeg, Manitoba. We went with this package combo for the unit. We got a Hobby Wing ESC, Hobby Wing motor, 13.5 turn brushless motor, censored mind you, censored brushless ESC. We went with the Reefs Micro Drift Gyro. It will work for 1/10 and 1/24. It's a pretty nice sized little unit. Also picked up the Reefs USB programming link, if you would, for their servos and for their drift unit. I believe we'll need that for there. For the servo, for steering, a $299 Reefs low profile servo. We like to go with Reefs or NSD RC usually on everything we do, so this kind of fits with everybody else in the stable. Also a very beautiful, quiet, great fast servo for the application. Power Hobby, we took a dip into the dark side over there. We grabbed ourselves a nice little clamp-on motor mount. I thought that was pretty cool. It's also in black, which will match all the electronics, which are black, so it looks pretty dope. And we have a big old blower turbo fan. I know there are some better ones out there. This is just what we're going to start with, and then we'll get a better one soon. And an SR215 basic receiver from Spectrum. And to power the project, we're going to use a Spectrum Smart Pro Series 7.6 volt 2S LiPo. Very nice little guy here. So in the package of the battery, you obviously get the battery. Now this is a 5,000 milliamp 2S LiPo. It's such a nice little unit. You can plug it in from both sides, so however it's going to fit your build for your power positive negative in. It was pretty cool. I don't think I've seen that in a while in a battery. And then we have the charge connector. Now you can run off that if you want, but we also picked up some Macklin bullet 5mm connectors. They're 5mm holes, 5mm connectors. Solder your wire from your ESC, plug them right in. Make sure you use some black and red, or definitely just some red if you have a black connector, heat shrink, so you don't burn anything out, especially with an ESC like this that has all black wires coming off of it, just to make sure you don't plug it in backwards. I'm guilty of doing that, so learn from my mistakes, save yourself some money. Okay, so we're going to throw the motor in it, the basic stuff, the servo in it, gonna get that going. We'll jump back in once we figure out the instructions for this. We're going to go and read the supplied manual, or the supplied instructions, or go online and find a manual for it so we can figure out the best position for it. And we'll come back once we get into the tuning part in... Okay guys, there you go, car complete. We got that Reefs 299 LP servo mounted up in the front. Fits beautifully underneath that steering or suspension cantilever. Yeah, cantilever inboard shock setup. Battery pack, as you know, we went with that Spectrum 5,000 milliamp high voltage. Very cool Pro Series battery. I like the pack. Looks good. Fits in the car very nicely. We'll throw an O-ring over top to hold that down. The Hobby Wing ESC mounted up in the rear right behind the Spectrum SR315 receiver. Now we went with the 315 receiver so we could control the the gyro sensitivity, not the ESC, sorry, the gyro sensitivity with the third channel. Very cool with the Reese gyro. Now the setup on the gyro is very simple. You want to take, basically, we set our radio for our EPA endpoint adjustment for full lock, right to where the car was full lock and the servo wasn't choking and nothing was binding up. You do that left and right, and then you shut everything off. You hold down the little set button on it, you power the car back up, and then you need to turn to full lock, click the button, turn full lock the other way, click the button, go back to center, it blinks a few times, and then it's good to go. Some gyros we've had in the past did not have that functionality, so sometimes you'd whip the car really hard and it would strip your servo. It would just crank it beyond its limits, so or strip it, yeah, beyond the limit of the car, right? So the body is drying. We went with a pretty wild paint job. You'll see that in a later video. It's going to take a little bit to get that done. I think there's like 7 colors and 20 hours involved or something. Okay, like 3 hours and 4 colors, but whatever, it feels like the same. We're old. Cooling fan on the back. You're going to want to run a cooling fan. With the body we're running, we're not going to be able to mount our Power Hobby fan exactly how we want. We went with this cool Power Hobby motor clamp. I like the style of it. It's even cut on the bottom so it sits flat with the ground. So pretty cool little piece. We are going to have to cut this little schnoggins off because it does interfere with our body. And then we're just going to mount the fan like that. So it's going to help. It's not going to be perfect. There is a fan already on the ESC. So once we get both those going, it's going to be running nice and cool. Should stay cool. We are still learning some suspension tuning and setup as the rear-wheel drive drift game is fairly new to Jesse and myself. We do have the D4 that we built a couple years ago, but we never had a good gyro for it. So the Reef's gyro so far, from the testing that we've done, very little bit on the tires, got a couple out there. So far, game changer. One quick setting on the remote you're going to want to do is turn your trim step down from like 9 to like 1. So when you're clicking your sensitivity on the gyro, it's not doing steps of 10 because those could be pretty large and you won't get a good feel. You want to have small steps in there so every click gives you just a little bit more, a little bit less sensitivity. Anyhow, we're going to quickly throw this on the floor, no body, cut some donuts, show you some cool little drifting with it. It surprisingly working well. We don't got a lot of space in here, but we are planning on clearing out the shop for the winter and running them out there. So I'll see you in a few minutes on the floor. I hit him my ass. Yeah, very little. Hold the throttle. Hold the throttle here, just like when we grew up in the road. There's no gravity. Let Jesus take the wheel and use the throttle. I have no reverse, so I can double tap and not worry about it going into reverse, you know what I mean? Okay guys, there you go. Sakura D5 version 2.0, absolute beast, kitted with a very basic electronic package. I think my electronic package ran me 500 bucks, something like that. The gyro, the ESC, the motor, the receiver, the whole package. Canadian prices. Remember, everything up here is expensive for us poor boys. We got to work a lot harder to get a little bit more fun out of life. But anyhow, Sakura D5 is $80 car, so that is the best part. As you can see, it performs very, 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 very good. Very happy with it. I feel I'm going to get the hang of that. We're going to have a lot of fun. We have some more space to clear out, to have some more fun. The next video you're going to see, this guy will be doing some drifting with this sweet painted body completed on it. The body in a scale drift car is a very long process. We're not going to drag you through that on this one. We'll show you that complete. The next build is going to be Jesse's car with a little bit of a different setup on electronics. But pretty much the exact same car. He is going to be running the Reefs Drift Gyro because, as you can see, that piece with the right setting works very good out there. I was giving very little to no steering input. Once I give it a little bit of a kick, I let the gyro take over and you just modulate the throttle, keep the car hung out sideways, and we're starting to get a pretty good little speed going on out there. I was actually having a lot of fun. So we will see you guys back here on the next video. Stay tuned. Cheers. Have a good one.